Well, what's wrong with Star Wars anyway?
Star Wars, bro. It's a long thing, man. Star Wars. It's a long thing, man. You have to go backwards, come forwards. No, man. Leave Star Wars where it was back in the day. Did the 3 good movies and that was fine. You had to go backwards and then come forwards. And... You've got black folk in now as well. Why did they consider the black folk in the beginning?
We had Lando.
Yeah, Chewbacca.
Oh, jeez.
That was the closest thing you had to a black man, wasn't it?
Sorry.
I give it a Star Wars. Oh yeah, and Darth Vader. He was black as well, anyway.
No, madness.
There you go. See, no, man. It was all right. Luke Skywalker, them days. That's cool. But I'm ignorant to that stuff anyway. Star Wars. There's a place and a time for. Sorry, but the Avengers.
There was a black person in Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying. Now there's a black person in Star Wars.
Princess Leia.
Leia was not black.
Yes, she was.
But she wasn't.
No, the black lady on there. What was her name?
You're talking about Star Trek.
Oh, okay. Wrong show. Sorry.
Don't talk. Just don't talk. It's embarrassing. It's life as well. Star Trek, not Star Wars.
It's Star Trek.
You know,
Never got into Star Trek though.
I thought Princess Leia was black because it is.
That's why, and that is how gentlemen's clubs were created.
No, what you said.
No, that's why they got private men's clubs. Sorry. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Online. We are at the Neasden Boxing Club. I've been rightly corrected. It is the Neasden Boxing Club, and it is IQ Boxing with Xavier Miller. And correct me, right?
Yep.
Then to make sure clear that it's Neasden Boxing Club.
Yep.
Okay. So shout out to Neasden Boxing Club, and the man behind IQ Boxing is Xavier Miller.
Yep.
I just threw it all together. Neasden IQ Boxing Club. I was halfway there, but where did the academy bit come from?
Yeah, for a brief moment there was an academy or a discussion about an academy because there was a split with the amateur boxing system, but we did away with that.
Okay, so we're back with you again, Xavier. It's nice to have you in this to do the interview with you. So let's start by talking about the last time we did an interview regarding development, your fighters, your relationship with Steve Goodwin. We'll touch on that. How's the relationship been? Obviously, you had some time now with Steve and the fighters. Are you happy with the development?
Definitely.
Okay.
Got a very good relationship with Steve and speak to him all the time regarding opponents, regarding pathway for the boxers. So, got a really good relationship.
Kate Prosper.
Yeah, it's a good fight.
Here we go. I'll be straight up. I saw that fight against Salman Mason. Got caught in the first round. Came back. Boxed well, I thought. Made Sam miss. Made him pay at times. Had him hurt. Couldn't get him out of there. The headbutt. The low blow. The low blow. The low blow. And the referee at once took a point. If the referee had just taken 1 point, we'd be having a different conversation today. Why is this in boxing? Rules are there for a reason.
Well, I'll be honest with you, especially I always said once I get into pro boxing, I'm not gonna complain about decisions or any of those things. For me, it's unfortunate, but I don't really want to bring in negative energy. We've got what we wanted. We've got a rematch. It's gone to purse bids, and next time it's have to be more convincing.
What did you like about what Kay did, and what do you think he could have improved on?
What I really liked about Kay in that fight was the way he reacted in the first round when he got caught. I've always stated that the most important thing for me with any boxer is to act like a fighter when the time comes. And there was a mini crisis. He dealt with it, and he boxed brilliantly. At times, a lot of the rounds he was winning clearly, and he did basically box the whole fight in the southpaw stance. he's boxing the English champion, who is a southpaw, a genuine established southpaw. Kay's only been boxing southpaw for about 7-8 months. He did it in the Nathan Weiss fight, and he's done it again here, and he's shown his first a world title. So if you get a chance, take it.
So you talk about Lloyd Honeyghan. What do you think was key for him to become world champion?
I think it's just the determination, desire, and that's what it looked like in the fight anyway. He looked like he wanted it more than Donald. Donald looked like, I mean, maybe he'd reached the top and he just wasn't that hungry anymore, or maybe wasn't living the lifestyle, but that's got nothing to do with Honeyghan. He went in there and done what he had to do.
Okay, let me give you an example or an idea, and then you ask me if you agree or disagree with it. Okay? Conveyor belt. 2 conveyor belts. One conveyor belt has got the best products possible on the conveyor belt.
Mm-hmm.
Another conveyor belt is of products that have to be made into becoming the best.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 products are put in a ring together. Would it be correct in saying that we don't know what the future holds, but on one conveyor belt, you've got more guarantee of one creating champions, and then one conveyor belt creating opponents? Talk to me about that philosophy. And does the gym become a place for cannon fodder on opponents for A side, B side? Do you understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah, I think we've got there's an argument here, and you know, you could always say, well, you use the analogy, you've got obviously GB boxers, and then
Yes.
you've got the boxers who've had amateur fights, didn't reach GB level,
Yes.
but turned pro and are good pros.
Right.
Again, when you get to that point, you know, for me, it's who wants it more. I mean, it's happened throughout boxing history over and over again. There's guys who are technically great, but there's guys who are just raw, but just are hungry and are willing to go through more than the more gifted fighter. And it's just life. I mean, everyone gets dealt different cards. It doesn't mean you're not on that person's level. To me, it's your mentality.
We had a fight the other day, Anthony Fowler and Scott Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Fowler was the guy that everybody...
Oh, from Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fowler was the guy that everyone thought, he's the star, the action guy.
Yeah.
And look, Fitzgerald wasn't expected to do, and Fowler was the guy that knocked him out. Fowler gets in, putting him back in his arse in 5 rounds. Fitzgerald wins the fight. Wasn't the plan.
No.
Why?
We don't really know what's happened. I don't know what's in the mind of a fighter, but if you've got that fighter who's been built up that way, if they start to believe it, that's a problem. If they believe that, you know, this fight they've got coming now is, you know, maybe they're beyond that fight, maybe that this fight is not on their level. Well, if you have that mentality, this guy's coming hungry, ready to go, sometimes that can be an issue. I like the way how people talk about how hard Floyd trains. They say he trains like he has no money, like he's broke. I know he's flash and buoyant, but when it comes to working, his work ethic it can't be matched. I think you need to have that throughout the whole of your boxing career, because there's always somebody waiting for you. But again, this young man took his opportunity when he got on the big stage under the bright lights, and he took it. And that's what it's about. Same with the guys here. You know, you train hard, you know, have the mentality that you're going to train harder than anybody else. So when the opportunity does come, because it could be short notice, but if you stay in the gym, as was it Matthews when he beat Ryan Rhodes?
Yes.
Yep, that was on very short notice.
Jason Matthews.
From
Hackney.
Yep. With the belief, that was it. That was the difference. It can happen. When you get the opportunity, got to take it.
Fighters come and fighters go.
Yep.
Trainers come, trainers go. Yep. Fighter-trainer relationships. Now, Derek Chisora you know well.
Kind of.
Well, you worked with him.
Yeah.
See him move from Don Charles's gym to another gym. to working with, who's he working with before he worked with Dave Colwell? Who was he working with before that?
He's moved on a few times. I know you spent a short spell in that Sapanka's gym.
Yes.
I'm not can't remember who the trainer
Yeah,
was.
he's working there. And then he had with somebody else before he went to Dave Colwell.
Mhm.
Who was he training?
He's still with Don, but it was under the Hay banner.
Yeah.
We were training at the Hay.
Yeah. So now it's gone to Dave Colwell. He's trainers and fighters. Oh, we've heard of situations where I had a situation where Don and Derek had a fallout in the ring. We heard about that. What are the main reasons why trainers and fighters fall out, in your opinion?
In my honest opinion,
In your
and
honest opinion.
I don't know how people are going to receive this, but unfortunately, boxers don't like to take responsibility when it doesn't go their way. I think that's the main problem. They'll, instead of them saying, well, you know, I should have done this on the day, or I should have done that, or it's not that, it's, you know, this hasn't gone well. Let me get rid of the coach, go to a different coach, because then everything's going to be good. That's, to me, that's some boxers' mentality. And a lot of times, unfortunately, those boxers, they go away, go to a different coach, they don't settle there, and they go to another coach, and they're coming back around to the coach they were in the first place. Because what they're doing is they're passing blame. I don't like it. I don't understand it. But every now and then, a boxer does make a change, and obviously it's to their benefit. But a lot of times, it doesn't work. I think it depends on the circumstances. You know, I don't know why certain boxers do what they do.
What would be your advice to a young fighter? I mean, a fighter will say, listen, I've only got one body, you can be replaced.
Okay, so
That's
any boxer that, honestly, I've always maintained this. Any boxer that wants to go, I would never ask them why, or ask them to stay. No fighter could ever say that I wanted to leave Zav, and Zav said no, don't go anywhere.
Isn't that your time and energy you've put into a fighter? Well, I know a lot of trainers get bitter by that. They go, all these years into this guy, and then he's gone and left me and gone with another trainer, and now he's celebrating, winning all these titles. But I put all the damn hard work in.
Just don't think like that, man. I just don't have that sort of mentality. I mean, obviously, there's a couple of fighters that, you know, I started from scratch, and they can no longer box because they've got injuries. That hurts, because obviously I put so much time into them. But if a boxer wanted to go somewhere else, honestly, you have my blessing, because I know that I've given you everything I can, and I want you to do well. You know, I want all these. The boxing's too hard. The business is too hard for you to have like any ill feeling towards a fighter. And to be honest with you, you never know what happens down the line. That boxer can easily come back to you. So you have a bad breakup, and then you end up together again. The boxer doesn't look good, and the trainer doesn't look good. You know, you should always be left mutual, respectful. You want to move on? Okay, fine, no problem. And if for some reason you end up working together again down the line, could be years down the line, okay.
Philosophies about boxing. Some trainers believe you need to go running up mountains to get fit. Other trainers think you can do it on a treadmill, and other trainers don't believe you need to do running at all. Your thoughts?
I think you should treat every fighter as an individual. You cannot train all fighters the same. You can't do it. You know, I think obviously you've got your core. Your fighters should go for their runs. Your fighters should spar. Some fighters need more strength and conditioning than others. Some fighters don't even need strength and conditioning at all. You have to know your boxer. You know, everything here is documented. I know exactly when your fight date is. I know when your start date is for training camp, and every single round of sparring you boxed in this gym, it's recorded. So I'm trying to create a blueprint for each fighter. So say, for example, someone like Adrian Redmond, if he's got a 4-rounder, he may well have sparred maybe 40 rounds in prep for that fight. You might look at if he performed well, great. If he hasn't, I will look at that and say, you know what, well, let's spar 30 rounds this time and see If that makes a difference, maybe overtrained. But every single one of them has sparred a different amount of rounds because I know the fighter. So you just keep a close eye on exactly what it is I'm doing with them.
Have you ever got it wrong and tried to style it out like you got it right?
Never. Because it's all documented. And what I do is even when I do document it, at the end of their training camp, I send them everything that I have. So I'll send them the amount of rounds they sparred. I'll send them, they've got to send me their weight from Monday to Friday every morning. And they've got to send me an image of them on the scale. And it's documented. And then they'll get that sent to them. So they'll know, what their weight's been, how it's fluctuated throughout training camp. They'll know how many rounds they sparred. It's all open here. If I've scheduled sparring for a boxer and it's 2 weeks before their fight and they come in and say, Coach, I feel really tired. I say to them, listen, don't spar. Go home. Go home, come back tomorrow. Or go and take a couple of days and come back. Your body's telling you, something's not quite right. You're tired. You might come back in 2 days and have that spark and energy. But every fighter is different and you've got to just remember that. That's why everything for me has to be written down. Because I don't want to make a mistake and, put a program together for one fighter and think that I've done it correctly and it's actually for a different fighter. So I'll always go back to my records.
Okay. Fighter comes through the doors. I want you to train me.
Well, that happens all the time. All the time.
That's what you say. How does it go? Do you have to, what do you look at them or what do you do?
At this moment in time, every single one that's come along now said no. And if they have wanted to train here, I said to them, okay, fine, but you'll have to train with that coach or another coach.
Why?
So,
Why is it?
Because I no longer have the time to train any other fighter. I'm very comfortable with what I've actually got. My days are the same. The only rest morning I have is Wednesdays. The boxers are all in Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And they've all got their own individual times, starting from 8 o'clock. Next one might come at 9, next one at 10. At this moment in time, I'm not willing to break up that schedule that I have, unless it's somebody who honestly is already there.
Established.
Yeah. I'd only be interested in someone who's already established, to be honest with you, because I've already had an amateur boxing gym. For me, I've already put the time in. I've already done the graft. I've already done the grassroots. I don't need to start a fight from scratch because the amateur circuit already knows the kind of fighters that I've produced. The pros, most people in the pros know exactly the fighters that I've got on the circuit and what I intend to do with them. So I don't need to prove myself like building a fighter anymore. I've already done that. So if someone established, and it would have to be someone who I think that I can make an impression on. That I can, if they can benefit what I'm teaching, that's fine. They might not have a style that suits me, so I would say no.
There's some trainers that will take fighters on that their style, they're not compatible. But they're doing it for the money.
Yeah.
Why do trainers do that?
I don't know. I make my money through one-to-ones. I've got my sponsors who back me.
Talk to me about sponsors for a second. How important they are to you?
God, it's everything. I can't do what I do unless I've got the support. And that's nearly all of them on this board here. Ealing Board and Timber, London Legacy, Bravos, KMT, Tiger Bay. They financially help me to do what I do every day. I'm able to give all my time to these boxers because they're supporting me. And I don't have to charge the boxers at this stage. The only thing I charge them for is when I do the corner work on the night. That is it. All the training could be 10-week training camp, 6 weeks. I don't charge them. I say to them, listen, I know you've got to sell tickets for a 4-rounder. You've got to find £2,400 from somewhere. It's a lot of tickets. It's 60 tickets. So it's a lot of work. So I don't want their money. I just want them to do well.
When you've got a fighter that can't sell the tickets, but is a tremendous boxer, what happens then?
Hard. Because I've experienced it now. My view a couple of years ago was different to what it is now.
What was your view then?
It was, you find a way. It's okay, but it's not. These promoters want their money. these opponents, they want their money. And if you can't sell, if you can't at least break even, I would suggest you don't turn pro. I mean, we were talking earlier about the two conveyor belts.
Yeah.
You know, on the GB setup, you know, automatically, well, almost immediately, you do get sponsors.
Yeah.
You're on a completely different pathway. When you're coming out of the amateurs or from the white collar,
Yeah.
and you just want to turn pro, and you've got to start building up your fan base and selling tickets. If you don't have a good fan base, a solid fan base, then I would suggest you don't do it. It's too hard because usually those guys get thrown into 50-50 fights a lot earlier than they should be, and it becomes very hard. You know, you need to learn what it is to be a pro, and that could be 8, 9, 10 fights. You know, sometimes you can get thrown as early as your second, third fight because you're not a ticket seller. You know, when you get to that point, well, it's really difficult because these guys have either got a lot of experience or, you know, they're on your level. So then you end up with a 50-50 record, and you know, every fight is hard. And I've had to learn that over the past 2-3 years.
And by learning that, what do you
make smarter choices? Yeah. So I'll say from early, you know, I've got some really good amateurs now. That obviously I trained, and me and my business partner trained, and they'll be looking to go pro within either this year, next year, the year after. I keep saying to them, if you don't have a good following, stay in the amateurs. You know, try and work your way up there, and at least try and get a following to your amateur fights. I mean, if you're going to come into your amateur fights, then when you turn pro, they'll want to be part of your journey.
Of course. So
that's the only advice I can give them at this stage. I couldn't have done that before because I wasn't really in it. So.
Now you understand that.
Mm.
Okay, topic, I'm going to ask you, obviously, thank you so much for, again, inviting me down to the gym.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for doing the Padwork. We did Padwork earlier on.
Yeah, it's good.
Talk to me about that.
What, Padwork?
Yeah.
That's a funny subject with me, honestly. It's strange because I never came from that world. I didn't understand it back then, but it's just become like the norm. It's just part of like a training schedule. But I don't. It's so much. If I've got, let's say, 10 different methods of like training boxers, Padwork might be 6, 7. I think there's so many other ways that you can, that to me are better in regards to learning technique with boxing. I think body sparring is great. You know, you get the physical, you got your opponent with the weight, you know, your body gets conditioned having to take the shots. It's good to do a lot of body sparring because then you're not always taking headshots. I like the heavy bag work, the weight of the heavy bag, you know, it physically takes it out of you. It's more of an opponent. With the pad work, you know, the coach a lot of times is meeting you with the pads and they're calling out the numbers or calling out the pad combinations, doing half the work for you. So I didn't, like I said, my first coach, there wasn't Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, these guys, they never did that. There was no pad work, you know, and they're all-time greats. You know, I don't have a problem with it, but I do have a problem when a boxer keeps asking me to do pads all the time because, you know, there's other ways there's other training methods you can use. I get bored with pads sometimes. And I like the concept of punching correctly, but I don't like the concept of trying to hit the pads as hard as you possibly can. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good for coaches, full stop. I think it has long-lasting effects physically on coaches. Same with the body bag. If you're moving around with the body bag like what I do, you know, I try to behave more like a fighter. You know, I'm moving around, I've got my gloves on, my gum shields in, you know, we're going at it. Yeah. But if you're just standing there and allowing someone to hit a body bag, again, internally, I don't see why you want to be doing something like that, like constantly on a daily basis. It's just, every coach has got their own thing. Some boxers believe that I should do pads every single day. That's fine, I didn't have to, but when I was moving around, I used to beat up most people in sparring, never in their pad work. I didn't need it. So it's depends on what you want to do.
Also, thank you today for the pads you did with me.
Okay,
I
anytime.
appreciate it.
Anytime.
What was your assessment for the 42-year-old Jonesy boy?
Coaches are very, very knowledgeable. You know, they can always tell when someone's done something before. It was obvious that you know what you're doing. You've got good sharp jab. You know, quite a heavy right hand, and you're moving around well, so you understand the basics. You know, the fundamentals, the foundation. So that's always easier. It's quite hard when you're doing PTs and you're starting from scratch and someone not punching correctly. Unfortunately, that's where most of my injuries have come from. It's not with pro boxers. It's from PTs, because if they don't catch the pad in the right way, so like if they catch the pad at the side of my palm, my arm, my hand will twist.
Yeah.
Hurts the wrist. I've had shoulder problems before, so I'm trying to get more spots so I can reduce the amount of PTs I do to this year. Because
one thing there are things that go through my mind because my body wasn't fit the way I want it to be to move forward to throw the punches. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, get close, step in, twist, turn. Yeah. It's all going through the mind. Like make sure you move your head, keep your head down, make sure you're rotating the shots, make sure you're not squaring yourself up. All these things I'm thinking, all these things. But when you're fit, muscle memory. Yeah, but it's trundling through the mind. It's like it's going through. Right, I can step in with the right hand. Make sure you don't overcommit. Make sure you're not stretching over. Throw a jab. Make sure you pull your hand back. You know your feet. Make sure your feet in a position. Make sure you can get in and out. Don't overcommit. Don't load up with the right hand. All these things I'm thinking, and as I'm throwing the right hand, thinking, I've overcommit with that right hand. Too much power on that. You just snap it back and bam. There, bang.
It's a lot to remember, isn't it?
And it's all going through, and I'm correcting myself while I'm doing it at the same time. Going, oh my lord! It's
like the feet, the hips,
the rotation,
the shoulders, the rotation of the wrists, the knuckles.
Yeah,
it's a lot to remember.
It is.
You know, sometimes you take it for granted when you're fit and you're doing it on a regular basis. And when you don't do it for a while, you're thinking, "Geez, how was I able to do that so easily?" Exactly. You weren't even thinking about it. And that's why it's so important to have a routine. You know, you need to be in the gym every day. You know, you need to be hitting bags, you need to be shadow boxing, you need to be body sparring. You know, when you do it all the time, then it just becomes natural.
I don't know if you're aware, have you seen the EMS training I do?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's where I get the suit on and I get electrodes put to my body. So I get 20 minutes every week.
Yeah.
All it is electrical impulses. We train the body 3 times the impact of a normal gym workout. Every muscle in the body gets worked for 20 minutes.
That might be good for me then.
It's good, but I do sweat and I do the cardio and I'm feeling muscles in my body where I've never felt before. But then I remember the trainings with boxing training and the cardio. I mean, like I can't do the stuff here, like I did the EMS training. For the cardio side of things, it's different. It's different. I need a cardio for that. But for the actual strength training and all that stuff, I can feel physical strength. So it's 3 times the amount. So we do exercises where I'm standing in place for a while, or I'm stretching this way or stretching that way. It's very hard. And we've got those impulses pushing in your body. You've only got 10-second recovery time. Yeah.
I'm going to try it though.
I'll invite you down.
I'm going to try it.
I'll invite you down.
Just once though.
I'll strap you up, see how I feel, and I'd love to know what you feel about it afterwards.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's good. So, Xavier, sparring. We talked about that earlier on. Do you think you could have a fighter go into a fight without any sparring whatsoever? Because it would prolong their career.
I'm sure it's been done.
Could you?
So I can't say no. I think it could be done.
Do you think a fight could prepare without sparring for fights? Or
I wouldn't advise it, but I think it's possible. I know of guys that just do like 90%, 95% pad work all the time and they fight. A lot of coaches don't believe in heavy sparring. Probably possible. I suppose it depends more on the type of style you're trying to box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Which leads us on to our next conversation.
Which is a
Yard v Kovalev.
Oh yeah, okay.
So the master genius trainer, Tunde Ajayi, much love to Tunde. Um, the fight against Kovalev. Question marks are, well, Yard's never fought anywhere near the level of a Kovalev, this, that, the other. What are your responses to that as a trainer, from what you see from your eye?
My personal opinion of the fight is that I think Andy Yard stops Kovalev. That's my personal opinion. I think it's manager's, trainer's job to pick the right fights at the right time. And I think Kovalev the last 3 years, it's not just the fights that he's lost. I think there's a couple of fights before that where I've seen some signs of distress in him. And I think that Yard is, he's young, he's strong, he's powerful, he's been well taught. I think it's a good time for him. It's a good time.
If he does beat Kovalev, then that puts him in a very tricky situation because he's got the rest of the fighters in the light heavyweight division.
Sorry, one second. Man, turn off, please. I think I've always said this, and it's a strange question. It's okay putting a guy for a world title, but it's when you get there, then what? There's other guys who I believe are more dangerous than Kovalev.
Bivol.
Yeah, these guys are.
Turbiev.
Yeah, and this is why some guys choose to fight certain fighters at certain times. That's the only problem is I see is one. I think Yard wins this fight, but after that, then what? I mean, he could always engineer.
Boatsi. Allison Boatsi done.
50-50. I think it's very, very close. I don't want to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very good fight.
Yard versus Callum Johnson.
Slightly favour Yard. I'm biased.
Yard versus Jose.
I'm biased because Yard fights in more of a style
That you like.
That I like. So
Yard versus Hosea Burton. Everyone's talking about Hosea Burton.
yeah, if that's a difficult fight.
Is it?
It's just a start, isn't it? It's just because he's busy. That's the really tall,
Yeah.
rangy guy. Why take on that headache when you're potentially going to fight for a world title again? I think Yard doesn't. He doesn't. That for me, because of where he is now and the potential of getting this fight, that would be sort of looking down. He shouldn't really be doing that. He's looking up. You know, these guys are going to be trying to get fights with him, but he's in a very good position right now. So I think that conversation is dead now. Fighting those guys, they're worthy challenges,
Yeah.
but they're not in the conversation anymore. Not for where Yard is trying to get to.
In terms of Tunde Jai, what he's done as a manager, in terms of getting Yard the promotional deals and all the rest of it, would you say he's the best in the country at doing that? When you think about, he's got in the Adidas promotional deal, he's got the Adidas promotional, he's got the Maxi Muscle. I mean, one fight that you see him on Sky and Box Nation and BT.
I think he's done a tremendous job with marketing his own fighter.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody should knock that. I think he should be praised for it. He's put Yard in a very good position. I don't see how anyone can have anything negative to say about that.
Why do you think he's getting the negativity? When he talked about Andre Ward, he said that Yard's got a better skill set than Andre Ward, and
I honestly don't. I'm not sure exactly what he was alluding to.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is that Yard's he's done. I mean, Ward's done so much, and Yard's yet to do well. He's yet to prove himself. But when I look at Yard, he does some really, really good things, and he looks smooth doing it.
he does.
He does look good doing it. So again, the eye test, Ward is special, but Yard does look smooth at what he does. So I don't blame Tunde for having that opinion, and he should have his own fighter anyway. That's what he should be doing. You know, leave everyone else to make negative comments about it. You know, you ride with your guy. You know, you're the one that's put all the time into him. You're the one that's got him good sponsorship deals. You're the one that's going to make him, you know, make him and his family comfortable. No one else is doing that. So you should ride with your guy.
I want to talk about one other trainer for a second, Mark Tibbs. People not really talking about him that much, but look at how he's brought Dillian White on. What do you think?
These guys are all good coaches, you know. Honestly, I've got respect for all of them because I know what I do every day.
Yes.
So they're doing exactly what I'm doing every day. They're working hard with boxers, and that just deserves respect.
Do you think every trainer should have a trademark fighter? Right, like I said, Pacquiao, Roach, Hunter, Ward.
Yeah, it'd be nice. That's what I want.
So if you're going to have a trademark, what do you think your trademark fight would look like in the end? If you could picture it.
That's an interesting question. I like all fighters, and I don't know what they'd look like. I know the most important thing to me is how you behave. I think the most important thing, you have to have class about you.
Okay, 3 heavyweights: Wilder, Fury, Joshua. Which one of those 3 would be if it was at the 3, which one would be most representative of who you would be? And actually, I like Dillian White as well to the mix.
Out of those 4, I like Wilder and Joshua for different reasons.
Okay.
Yeah. I like Wilder because he's loud, a bit crazy, funny. Joshua's very well mannered, very respectful. Right, yeah. Those 2 at the moment for me. Yeah.
Who wins?
Ooh, wow. You were going to say that. I would say 2 years ago, Wilder. Now, 50-50.
You think Joshua's making that much of an improvement?
Yeah, which is what I think the plan was all along. I think he knew that there was things that he needed to work on, and I think he knew that he needed more experience. I think he's got that fighting the Parkers of the world, and I think now he's ready. He's definitely in a better position now than what he was before. I think that I could see technically there were some things that he needed to improve on. Wilder, yes, he's not the most technical guy in the world, but he does have that power, and when he wants to, he's got a very good trainer in Mark Breland, who's one of the best American amateurs. So when he wants to box behind a jab, he can, and Joshua will have to deal with that, and I think he's more equipped to deal with it now.
Who's your pound for pound number 1?
Terence Crawford.
Why?
Although the reason is, I think he can just do more than anybody else.
More than Canard?
His skills are unbelievable, but he doesn't have the footwork, and he can't switch. I think Crawford can do more. I like everything about Crawford at the moment, apart from the fact I think he's becoming a little bit too aggressive. I think when he beat Postel, he looked that was it. But you know, I think he'll choose the right time to box to that sort of game plan. I don't think he knows who to do it against. So I don't think anybody could beat him right now.
Not even Spence.
I don't think Spence could beat him right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Spence beat him because Spence is special. But when I watch the 2 of them, I think Crawford's got the better footwork. He just looks really good at judging range. If he has a problem in orthodox, he could switch to southpaw, and he's equally as effective. He's a dangerous fighter, and he's doing a job on these guys as well. He's moving up in weight, and he's still stopping them. You know, so you can't question his punching power, can't question his chin. You know, he's doing everything he should do, but so is Spence. That's why we want to see it. You got this is Leonard and Hans.
Yeah,
we want to see it.
Lomachenko, where does he fit?
Definitely in my top 5. I think it's like I think a lot of people are wowed now because that's their generation. I've seen the likes of Pernod
Whitaker.
These kind of guys.
First guy.
You can't oversell him to me.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. But he is very, very, very
I
special.
said this is Junior Jones the other day, the guy that.
Poison.
Yes.
Oh.
Got to him the other day.
Poison.
He talked about his win over Pereira.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me that Lomachenko's good, very good. He's no Pernod worker though.
I think Whitaker is unbelievable. I think we should really maybe judge him when it's
When he has those fights.
To me, there's still. I mean, he's only on. I don't know how many fights he's had. I just know that it's not. He hasn't even,
handful of fights, yeah.
he hasn't even reached the 20 mark yet, so I can't judge it. And then at the same time, how many Hall of Fame fighters has he been? So it's the same with Crawford. I can only judge them guys at the end.
Yeah.
But as I look at them, the kind of style of boxing that I like,
Yeah.
Terence Crawford me right now, and probably Canelo.
Xavier, thank you so much once again for inviting me down to the gym. Thank you for allowing me to get some working with you.
Yeah.
And
anytime.
again, thank you for allowing me for BWTM to come down here and talk to your fighters.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
And how do people follow you?
At the moment, I only really use Instagram.
Okay.
It's IQ Xavier Milan, which is XAVIERMIL. But everything goes through Insta at the moment.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.